Today is a very bittersweet day because today is the day that I am selling Jolene. Now Jolene is my Old Town Sportsman PDL 120, and Jolene has been really good to me. I have caught hundreds, thousands, I don't know, a ton of fish out of this kayak right here. And I'm sad to see her go, but times are changing. I've got other plans.
Holy smokes. I need to get on the drive system. It's a big pike. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh. That's too big of a fish for this net. Oh guy, I landed him. He's just heavy. Look at this fish, Tyler.
Yeah, that's a healthy...
There's one. I can't tell if it's big. He's running at me. Now he's running sideways. He's not really fighting that hard, but I feel like he's about ready to turn on the gun. There he went. It's a good one. That's the fish we're after. Here, get up here. Ethan, there you go, yes. That's a nice 17 3/4. It's a beauty. Guys, a 17 3/4 is a beautiful fish. And that is what we're after. We're looking for his big brother though. There's one. No, oh my gosh. The biggest walleye I've ever caught in my life. Dude, oh my gosh, I thought this... There you go. Beautiful fish. Giant fish. I gotta get this fish back. There you go. Why? Why? This is awesome, man. This is awesome. What are you gonna be? There we go. Okay. Holy smokes.
So it's been about 3 weeks since I sold Jolene, and today, it's funny, I'm actually gonna be fishing with Paul and Jeff from the Aggressively Average Anglers, but behind me, we have this Old Town Sportsman PDL 106. Now you might recognize this if you watch their channel. I'm actually buying the 106 from Paul. The reason I am literally selling a 120 and switching to a 106 is what I wanna talk about today. They're very, very similar kayaks. Basically the same kayak. The main difference is, from a 120 to a 106, you're going from 12 foot to 10.5 foot. Now, as a 6'6" person, that might seem concerning to an extent. However, a big call out with this rig right here is that you're not sacrificing leg space because the seat is basically identical. You have the same amount of space from feet to seat, we'll say. The big difference is really in that front storage. So, what am I doing? I'm sacrificing storage space in order to get something a little bit more manageable. That is the primary reason I decided I think I can live without the 120. I think the 106 will be just fine. I do have Paul back here. He's gonna walk me through some of the things that he's done to this rig because he's very different than myself. I am bare bones kind of guy. I just fish the kayak as it comes stock. He's upgrade guy, and he's very knowledgeable about his upgrades, and I'm excited for him to walk me through them because he's gonna hopefully inspire me to do that kind of stuff in the future. I guess I'm very boring when it comes to kayak fishing. Either way, you know, one of my only things that I'm being mindful of with this kayak, one of the big things that I wanna watch out for, and I'm not gonna be able to necessarily see it today because we're river fishing, is how does it handle in the wind compared to the 120? The biggest thing that I think about from a difference standpoint is that the 120 will likely hold its position just a little bit better than a 106, just simply due to the fact that it's a longer boat. I don't have a ton of concerns because this kayak is still really heavy. It's still like a very big, heavy kayak that's kind of built for fishing stability and just fishing comfort on the water. So I still think that even though I'm sacrificing just a little bit of stability and a little bit of like wind boat positioning, I think it won't be that big of a deal. And at the end of the day, it has one of the best pedal drive systems on the market. So pedal drives obviously give you the ability to hold your position really well, and that is something that's super important to me. So ultimately, the reason I decided to go from a 120 to a 106 is to save some room in my garage, make it just a little bit easier to car top, and really I'm not sacrificing much because the reality is I fish for maybe 4 or 5 hours at a time. I don't bring tons of equipment. Some people bring, you know, hundreds of pounds of gear. I don't. I bring a little bit of gear, 3 to 5 rods. I'm good with it. So to wrap this whole thing up, Jolene's been good to me. She's been a real nice rig, but I believe this blue kayak behind me is gonna catch me a ton of fish. And hopefully today, we're gonna crack on some big smallmouth. Paul, let's walk through some of these features.
All right, so the nice thing about almost all of the upgrades that I did on this kayak is they came from only one place. It's a manufacturer, small town, one guy called Navarre Kayak Fishing. He does a phenomenal job 3D printing, really high-end upgrades specifically for Old Towns. He was a fishing guide. He fished exclusively out of Old Towns for years. He knows every little tiny intricacy about these kayaks, and everything he designed is really just improving what was already there very minimally. So I actually feel like this fits really well with, I also like a minimal upgraded kayak, and I know Ethan does too, so it's gonna make a lot of sense when you see it. So we'll just go front to back really quick on each of these. First up, you got a guard here right on the nose of the boat. That's just a bumper guard to keep things from, you know, over time as you're dragging it in and out, keep it safe. We'll talk electronics in a second, but this is one of my favorite upgrades that Navarre makes. It's a combo rod rest, because a lot of times when you rest your rods on this drive, which like is natural, you're actually resting it on the pedals, and if you pedal, you just smash the rod. So you get two little rod rests here, and then it's also built to take a T-bolt, which means any Yak Attack accessory that is appropriate for size can go right up here, whether it's a GoPro, phone mount, whatever it is. Again, just super easy, screws into the OEM opening, which I love. Check out this, you got a floating prop nut. Just such a small thing if you ever need to clear the prop and you happen to drop that in the water. Not only are you going to be able to see it because it's blaze orange, but it floats, which is great. And then now you have a backup. So if you did happen to lose it, I actually keep a kit in my kayak, and I just keep the extra on with me. Again, just really simple, bolstering what you already had. Check out these spacers right here. Again, you get a little bit of rocking side to side, especially over time as this kayak starts to warm up and get a little bit broken in. These tend to rock a little bit. That just takes all the rock completely out. Spacers on both sides of the drive. Doesn't impact the performance at all. Custom made for this exact kayak. You got two handle replacements, OEM size, so the exact same size as the original, but they're a little bit lighter, and they allow for an accessory to be mounted on the inside. So you just put a T-bolt through the bottom, and you can mount a camera, a kayak clip, an anchor point, whatever it is that you want right here on either side. Again, super nice, super easy. Same with these risers. They make it a little easier, more comfortable sitting position, a little more power in the pedals because you're up a little higher. You can take them and remove them, and they have two different sizes, which is really nice. The original rudder on this kayak had a handle in it, and it's plastic. This is actually metal. It gives you a very fast, responsive turning, which I really like, and it turns just a hair tighter than the original did. And then when you're in a place like the river, it's really nice to know that if it gets hammered, if you get stuck on something, you're not going to break it. I love that. Plus now you got another backup, which I think is really slick. I tried to make this as smooth and as simple as possible. Not a heavy setup, a really basic minimal setup. I'm running the old hook reveal, a couple $100. These days they're only a few $100s, but it's got down scan. I have a transducer that does side scan, but it just does the basics, and it does them pretty well and very efficiently. You don't need a big battery. So what I did was I mounted the battery on the very inside of the hull. It's actually attached like right here. It doesn't impact your space almost at all because it's really high up. I just use double-sided Velcro, light battery, and actually you could just leave it in full time and then run the charger cable through the top when your kayak is in your garage, which again with an extension cord, super convenient and chill. And then you got the cords coming out here with the Yak Attack hull pass-through kits. These are so simple and so clean, and when you're not using them, they just have blank pieces that you can plop in there so that you don't have a hole at all. So if you want to remove this whole thing, you can do that, and you're not, all you would have is this little gasket showing. Not a huge deal, but wire comes out from the battery, and then the transducer cable goes inside and then comes back out this side so that it can go into the intended hole for the Old Town. There's a recessed opening underneath the kayak where you've got your transducer sitting inside there, safe from the elements but exposed to the water. Again, super simple, super light, and then just really low profile. And then I do have another cable. If you like to film videos and you want to plug it here, you could plug your phone in here, you could plug a GoPro in here, or whatever you want, or you can just throw it inside and then just put it right over the edge. And then you could just put an internal battery on the inside in a waterproof bag. Super easy.
I don't know if you're going to learn anything from me today, but you certainly are going to learn something from him. If you guys want to watch more kayak focused videos, I would highly, highly recommend the Aggressively Average Anglers channel. I am pretty bare bones with my kayak fishing. I grab a rig, I fish out of it. I don't think much about all those different things. They're a little bit more technical than I am. They've got a lot more understanding of what's on the market, so I got to give them a lot of credit there. Either way, I got a steal of a deal from my man Paul. So this kayak right here is gonna be good to me. Thank you, Paul. Thank you so very much for giving me such a great deal on this rig. Very excited to fish with it today. We're going from a 120 to a 106 over the next several fishing videos. Hopefully I will be able to kind of share with you my exact perspectives. But at this point in time, I feel like I'm sacrificing very little to gain quite a lot. So, without further ado, I'm gonna go fishing. Thank you so very much for watching. Stay tuned. More fishing on the horizon, we'll say. Have a good day. We'll catch you next time.